So, ahora vamos a terminar nuestros apuntes acerca del pretérito. Y vamos a hablar esta noche de los verbos irregulares en el pretérito. We're moving on to the irregulars. Así vamos a empezar. Primero, aquí tenemos los verbos ser, to be, e ir, to go. Ser e ir tienen la misma conjugación, they have the same conjugation en el pretérito. Yo fui, tú fuiste, él, ella, usted fue, nosotros fuimos, vosotros fuisteis, y ellos, ellas, y ustedes fueron. Please note a couple of things here. Número uno, that you're more often to use the verb ir in the preterite than ser. Número dos, note that there are no accents on these irregular verbs in the preterite. In fact, no verbs that are irregular in the preterite will have an accent. También vemos el verbo dar. El verbo dar suena como el verbo ver. Ver es un verbo regular en el pretérito. Ver is regular. The only thing screwy about ver is that it doesn't have any accents. For dar, to give, we have yo di, tú diste, él, ella, usted dio, nosotros dimos, vosotros disteis, y ellos, ellas, y ustedes dieron. Once again, note that there are no accents. Now we get to the bulk of our irregular verbs in the preterite. And you'll note that I've put them into a couple of columns here. We have the verbs on the left where it says el verbo. Cambia a little more in the middle. So the verb changes too. They all have irregular stems. And they all share this list of endings. And this list of endings here, iste o, imos, istes, ieron, is a mix of AR and ER/IR endings. But all of these irregular verbs here, it's not as bad as it seems, because all you have to remember for every single one of these is this one set of endings. The verb andar, to walk, becomes anduve. So if I want to say I walked, yo anduve. You walked, tu anduviste, and so on and so forth. Estar, to be, estuve. I want to say I was, yo estuve. You were, tu estuviste. He was, él estuvo. Tener, you have tuve. So she had, ella tuvo. We had, nosotros tuvimos. Hacer, oops, let's go back there, lo siento. Hacer, you have is, H-I-C, but note the little star and note the little box in the bottom right. It becomes él, ella, usted hizo. There is a different spelling change in the preterite here. But once again, we had or we made, nosotros hicimos, you all made, vosotros hicisteis. And you go on with every single one of these, all of these verbs here, they have these irregular stems, they have that change in the spelling, but they all share the same conjugation endings. So for poder is pud, to be able to. Poner is pus, to put. Querer. Querer has a bit of a different meaning in the preterite. It can mean to try. Querer, to try in the preterite. But no querer is to refuse. Like to say you absolutely won't do something. So for example, yo quise hacer la tarea, pero no pude. I tried to do the homework, but I couldn't. No quise hacer la tarea. I refused to do this. I refused to do the homework. Saber becomes soup. Saber in the preterite does not mean to know, it means to find out. So, for example, if we wanted to say they found out the truth, it would be ellos supieron la verdad. And finally, venir, which becomes vin. So we have a few examples here, and I'll have you take a look at these. I would like you to pick a couple of them to jot down, and then pause the video for a minute and do the activity that's listed below this set of notes. When you are done with the activity, please move on to the last bit of information here. There are a few verbs, unos verbos más, that are very, very similar to the verbs that you saw previously. The only difference is that these all change to a J. So decir to say, to tell becomes dich, conducir to drive becomes conduch, traer becomes trach. And you'll notice, if you look closely at our endings, iste, o, imos, istes, eron, that your eos ustedes ending is not the same as the ending for the previous set of verbs. But you still have the same idea in which all of these verbs, they have irregular stems, and these three verbs share the same set of endings. So the examples below, por ejemplo, ellos dijeron mentiras. They told lies. Mi esposo condujo a Newport. My husband drove to Newport. Los pasajeros trajeron mucho equipaje. The passengers brought a lot of luggage. Make sure you have accurate information. Come to class with any questions you may have. Y nos vemos en clase. Ciao!